when you're going to eat them, and then you make a grocery list so you can cook those recipes. We all know that. That's the basics of it. But that sounds simple, but it can get really complicated when you're working with 6 different recipes and your shopping list. You're trying to compile how many tablespoons of this thing do I actually need to buy for these 5 recipes, and doing all of that math. And it can be really time consuming, particularly if you're trying to stay on a budget, or if you're trying to stick to a new diet or help somebody else stick to a new diet. Maybe it's your spouse or people that live with you or something along those lines. Feeding one person or 20 people, you can scale recipes up and down, and that adds another layer of making it complicated. So this is where Plant Eat can really help, because it speaks to these issues and then really makes them, it really solves them. So Plant Eat can help you stick to a budget, because you know exactly what you need to purchase based on what's on your meal plan and your shopping list. You don't buy extra because you know you've got to stick to that budget. It can help you stick to a diet, because you can import recipes into your account that fit your needs and your family's needs. And then we have some tools that make scaling easier. It saves you time, because once you get the hang of meal planning with Plan to Eat, it's really just a couple of clicks here and there, and then you've got a shopping list and you're well on your way to shopping and then cooking. We are a program that we really want people to eat together as a family. We want people to eat healthy foods, nourishing foods. And so we don't want you to spend a ton of time in our app. We actually want you to use it for what you need it for, and then go spend time with your people or doing your hobbies that you enjoy more. So eating better is just going to naturally happen when you start planning your meals. I think somebody said that, Rebecca said that, I eat better when I plan. And that's a natural overflow for all of our customers, is that when they're planning their food and selecting high quality things to eat, then they're not going to get takeout, or they're not eating things that are fast and easy. And those things are treats, and we can enjoy those things. But I know for me personally, I'm going to choose a not so great thing when I go out to eat. But if I'm eating at home, I tend to choose better for myself. So that's kind of an overview of meal planning, and then why Plan to Eat is helpful, and why using a tool can really solve some of these problems and headaches that happen when we don't meal plan, or when we meal plan, and it can be kind of tedious and overwhelming. So, all right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what a Plan to Eat account looks like, and then I'm going to go over all the different sections. I'm going to do this fairly briefly. Plan to Eat is pretty extensive. We have a lot of features, but just to get you started, I'm just going to show you the basics of what it looks like. So let me get my screen shared here.
Oh, let me make sure you can do that. Can you do it?
Yes. I just shared it. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is Plan to Eat. Once you get logged into an account, this is what Plan to Eat is going to look like. And I created a new account this morning to show you guys what it will really look like when you get started. The only thing that's going to be different is that I added this recipe, so you guys could see what it looked like to have a recipe added. But there will be this video to help you get started. And then there are these tools down at the bottom here that can show you how to start adding recipes. I'm going to do a lot of this for you today, but I'm just showing you what will be here when you get started. So like Deb said, she did a beautiful introduction. We don't provide recipes to our customers directly. So inside your account, your recipe book will be empty, but you can add as many recipes as you want. And the reason why we really hold to this, like not giving you recipes, is because we don't want to tell you what to eat. We don't think that we have that in our power to tell you what it is that you need. And so many of our customers come to us because they want to stick to a new diet, or they've been told they have food allergies, or their family members just don't like certain things, or maybe their family members have a specific restriction or something like that. And so having to wade through a recipe book of recipes that really don't fit your needs, we think that it's easier to start with a blank slate, like Deb said, and then begin adding recipes that fit your needs. So that's why it's blank. It can be overwhelming at first, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to add recipes, and hopefully it becomes really easy and fast, and then it's not overwhelming. So this is what your recipe book is. There are A lot of different filtering options over here on the left-hand side. So once you have recipes in your recipe book, you can start to search for some. Maybe you haven't. Oh, go ahead. Did somebody have a question?
No, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. I just didn't want to talk over you. So you can start filtering recipes, but this is where all your recipes are going to live. They're all in one place, and they're hopefully your favorites. Like Deb said, you can easily give them the boot if you don't like them, and you can keep them if you do like them. Next class is going to be more on organizing your recipe book, cultivating your recipe book. And so we'll go over this more in depth in our next class. But if anybody has any questions, just feel free to let me know. I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to show you how to add recipes, but to get started, I'm going to go through each section. So that's the cook section. That's your recipe book. The next section is the planner. And this is a planner just like your calendar. And this allows you to add recipes onto your planner around your schedule and your needs. So I think somebody said that they plan food for themselves and then their husband eats something totally different. So this is a place where you can add your recipe and his recipe. And then that way you're making one trip to the grocery store, but you've got everything for all of those recipes. Each one of these days on the calendar. So really quick, just to show you, you're going to grab that little handle icon and just drag your recipes onto the calendar. I just have this one to work with right now, but we'll add more in just a minute. You can add as many recipes to these days as you want. You can add 30 recipes to one day. There's no restriction here. The great thing about this is that you can plan breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or you can plan just breakfast or just lunch or just dinner, whatever meals your family needs and whatever meals your family eats. I'm going to add this chicken noodle soup to multiple time slots just so you can kind of see how you can build out a meal plan. But this is obviously not a real example because hopefully we're not eating chicken noodle soup for every meal of the day. That'd be a bit boring. Another thing to notice here is that there's this serving size option, that little 8 on this recipe, that is showing you how many servings this makes. So you can easily come in here and say you only want to make one. Sorry, my mouse is so big, and so I keep scrolling over things that are accidental. So you can change it to 1. Anytime you change the serving size of your recipes on your planner, your shopping list is going to automatically scale that recipe up and down. So instead of cooking for 8, you're going to cook it for 4 or 1 or whatever your serving size is. And you're only buying ingredients that will make that serving size. So you're not spending, $300 on groceries when you really only need to spend $100, that kind of thing. It's scaling it down or up as you need it.
Riley, does it also change the ingredient list in the recipe itself?
It does. Yep. I'll show you what that looks like. So when I open this recipe card, I'll show you how I did that one more time. I just clicked on the title of the planned recipe. And then I clicked on view recipe and it shows me the entire recipe. So it shows me all the ingredients, the serving size that I have it set to, and the directions. So anytime I scale this, let's just change it to 5. Now watch the ingredient numbers. They scale up. So this is going to make it cooking really easy because when you go in, you need 3 3/4 teaspoons of butter and not more.